What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be going over the two trades I ended up taking. I'm going to be breaking them down and the mistakes I made. It was a short on ES and then a short on NQ. This was the short on ES down to the draw on liquidity down here. I was also aiming for consistency on my evals, and then it was another short on NQ right about here. Then I was aiming for this low hanging fruit right here. So I'll show you guys the trade recording and then I'll get into the recap. Okay, so coming in today, I was leaning very bearish, um, and for a few reasons. So remember we had the SMT from yesterday, the daily PO3, we put in the high and then we started printing lower, and the devil's mark at the daily candle with the new day opening gap as my draw, which we failed to deliver to. We would deliver to the internal draw, but we failed to deliver to the external draw, being this end dog, and we left stacked draws and liquidity, and we had a lack of manipulation um, with ES. There's this low here, but it doesn't really stick out to me. It's not prominent draw and liquidity, so I'm not really viewing that as manipulation. We didn't have any internal manipulation here at the lows either. But we just rebalanced this range. We rebalanced into OTE of this range, and we also rebalanced into this 4-hour value gap. And coming into market open, we were displacing lower. So the hourly candle was, sitting like around here coming to market open. And I noticed this unfilled hourly gap that could be a nice internal draw on liquidity, as well as this external draw. We also have the external draw intact on ES, and we have manipulation at the highs, displacement lower. So safe to say I was leaning very, very bearish today. I just had to align the internal model with the external model that was presented. But we'll get into that, and that's what I failed to do, because as you can see, we flipped bullish today after a little accumulation, manipulation, and then distributing back to the highs. So the first trade I took on ES was after we displaced coming to market open. There was lack of manipulation at 9:30, and I recognize that, but given the fact that we displaced so heavily, and the draw was very clear to me, I didn't mind that. So I see this, and I'm hoping for a little bit of a rebalance so I can target this draw on liquidity. We barely tap this for value gap here, and we start displacing lower. I missed this entry because I was not paying attention. Who knows if I would have taken it, but it would have got break even anyways. So after we edge the draw, we rebalance further back into the range, which is what I like to see. And we had an SMT with this 1 minute upper value gap that we created shortly after 9:30. So seeing this SMT, seeing how close we are to the draw on liquidity, how much we displaced at open, I'm just looking for a simple continuation to the draw. Now, I don't think this trade on ES was bad at all because we were a lot more bearish on ES than we were on NQ. We had already ran through, or were running through, the hourly gap here, while NQ, that was the draw for NQ. And we started displacing lower. So we put in the SMT, we put in two SMTs, one here, and we displaced lower on ES. We also displaced lower on NQ. So I short somewhere around here. And I actually added in once you put in this wick and then flip lower. So my average position was like around here. And I was just targeting consistency, which was somewhere around here. And then my break-even point was at the internal low. And I don't think this trade was bad at all. I mean, had everything I wanted, aligned with the external model, and my draw on liquidity, we just ended up failing to deliver. Now, this is where I should have been staying a little bit more patient because it is FOMC today. So that means I should automatically be inclined to just be very, very defensive. And that's the mistake I made today. So we edged the draw on liquidity, and we ended up coming up and putting in an SMT with the 9:30 a.m. high. So we now have manipulation above 9:30, and we're respecting the bearish order flow. We have this 5-minute gap here. So I simply just want to seize my draw on liquidity, and now we have these stacked lows here, these failure swings, and well, I would call this one a failure swing. I mean, this one manipulated, delivered higher. But here's where the mistakes happened. So I took my entry after, it was somewhere around here. It was a bit of a late entry. And then I was just targeting the low-hanging fruit here. And the thing with this entry was that it's a little bit after 10 a.m. So if you look at how the 9 a.m. candle closed, it's a clear rejection from all of the sell side, from this sell side here, from this gap here. And we would have to recover this entire candle for us to continue shorting. And also given the fact that this is the 10 a.m. candle, which put in a very, very small wick. So the 9 a.m. candle closed with a huge wick, which we would have to print all the way down. And the 10 a.m. candle did not open high, it opened low. And now we're coming lower. So I took this entry and it was based purely off of just like my bias that I had. I was not listening to market structure. I wasn't paying attention to market structure, and I wasn't aligning the external model with the internal model. The external model, if you just go to the high time frame, it's not there at all, right? It's not there. Like, look at that, and then the 10 a.m. candle. It's very unlikely that we reverse this entire move to the draw. And also given the fact that we had multiple chances to take the draw and we edge it, and it's FOMC day, it just makes it very, very low probability. And I mean, that was just the mistakes I made. Were longs something like I could have played today? Probably not. It's just something that happened. I mean, you don't have to engage every time. I mean, I should listen to my own advice, but I still think shorts were very, very high probability up until this close happened. I probably wouldn't have taken longs because this draw is in line with order flow. I think we're overall going to be bearish. But on a positive note about today, I effectively managed risk. although I wasn't patient enough, I wasn't disciplined enough, I didn't listen to myself. I did not, crash out or anything. Um, I stayed disciplined somewhat, um, and I preserved my capital to go on to the next day, which is what I realized I need to do to be um, in this game long term. So that's simply just what I need to focus on. I just need to focus on maintaining my system. Um, what is the saying? One does not rise to the level of his goals, but falls to the level of his system. That's simply just what I need to focus on. I need to learn from this. I need to apply it in tomorrow's trading session. Um, and I'll inevitably just make progress from there.